And we're live.
Welcome back, everyone. Episode 76 of Kids Deserve It. We hope you've been enjoying our weekly chats with educators and game changers from around the country. Also, don't forget, you can check us out on iTunes.
And speaking of iTunes, make sure you leave a review for us on iTunes if you want to win an autographed book set from Adam and myself. Make sure you leave your Twitter handle in the review, and we select a winner every Friday.
And don't forget to join our Kids Deserve It chat on Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. This week, we got another great guest, but first we want to introduce ourselves. I am Adam Welcome, Director of Innovation in the Bay Area of California.
I'm Todd Neslony, elementary school principal in Navasota, Texas, and I'm thrilled this week to have our special guest, Ryan Giffen, as well as his much better half, Danica Giffen, on with us today. So thank you guys so much for being on with us.
What's up, guys? Woo! Kids deserve it. It's here. It's actually here. It's
Well,
like
we also want to remind our viewers to tweet out using the hashtag Kids Deserve It different things that you learn about from this episode, whether you're watching live or listening to the recording later.
So, Ryan, we got a few questions for you. So, for those who don't know about you, tell us about yourself, man.
All right. Well, my name is Ryan Giffen, and I work for Premier Speakers Bureau. We are a speaker representation agency that works with speakers to kind of help manage their speaking careers, and then we work with groups that are looking for speakers, and I specialize at Premier with the specific group of K through 12 education, college and university groups. So anything having to do with kids, students, education, that's kind of what I do, and I love it, and I've been doing it for 9 years now, and I'm originally from Dallas, Texas. So shout out Dallas, Texas. Kids deserve Texas. No, probably not. And then this is my wife, Danica. So
hi, I'm a stay-at-home mom of 3 boys.
Awesome.
That's what I do.
She's full-time job.
Yes.
Yeah, 3 full-time jobs.
Yes.
Yeah.
So 3 awesome boys. You have Will, Eli, and Jad are our 3 boys. They're awesome. And yeah, we're just super excited to be a part of this. And I just want to say, I know I'm going off script a little bit. Todd's starting to sweat a little bit, get a little bit nervous because I'm going off script. But thank you guys for including me on the awesome work that you guys are doing. That Kids deserve it. It really means a lot to me that I can be included. So thank you.
Well, Ryan, if you didn't go off script, I would be surprised. So
hey, that's what I do. That's what I do best.
So Ryan, you kind of told us a little bit about your job. Was doing something like that kind of always a passion for you, or was it something that you kind of grew into?
You know, it's interesting. The more I thought about it, I always loved working with people and getting to know people and interacting with new people every day. And so I kind of just fell into that line of work of kind of working with people or selling stuff, or some people would call it sales. But actually my senior year of high school, going into my freshman year of college, a good friend of mine, we came up with the idea that we were going to start an entertainment agency that worked with artists and getting their message out into the world, that had a message that would make a difference. So I always thought it was something that I loved, the concept of promoting other people that had great messages. And so that was always in the back of my mind and in my heart. And I kind of stumbled into it at Premier Speakers Bureau and realized that, wow, this is kind of the exact same kind of thing that we were wanting to do. So I always love promoting good ideas, people that make a difference and that can really, change someone's life. So I love being a part of that.
Nice. I love that. So looking back on the last year, Ryan, what is something that you've accomplished that you're really proud of?
Man, getting to go to an event where both Todd Neslony and Adam Welcome were speaking at the same time. I mean, it blew, but no. Some of the most incredible things that we've done this year, I think, really kind of focus back to the accomplishments that our kids have made. And you kind of work your whole life wanting to be a parent, if that's kind of like your passion, or having your own children, and then hitting milestones with them, especially with one of our children who's hearing impaired. That's kind of one of our greatest accomplishments this year, has been really kind of seeing him hit milestones that have really kind of blown us away as parents. So
Nice.
Well, you know, Ryan, that leads great into the next question, and I'm so glad that Danica could be here too to kind of join in on this conversation with this one. But y'all have got a great, just personal story when it comes to your middle son, and you know, I've got to hear a lot of the story, but I think and just some of the struggles you two have faced kind of with him. Can you kind of tell us a little bit about him?
Yeah. So Eli is our middle son, and he is 5, and he was born deaf in his left ear. And over the course of 3 years, we kind of lived the life of, okay, he's just going to be deaf in 1 ear. Okay, that's awesome. And then at about the 3-year mark, his delay in vocabulary development actually took a plummet, mostly, and words that he was saying just started disappearing. And so we went in for a regular checkup that we were very, very common in our life at that point. And they did a test and they said, yeah, he isn't cooperating at all.
The actual report said patient in distress. And we were kind of like, well, he's kind of like always like that. He's always in distress, we feel like. No.
But probably what it really was the fact that he was not hearing. And so he wasn't being stimulated at all. And so once they decided to do a sedated test so that they could test the same things that they would test when he was awake, but get a better result, a better end result. And it was at that test that they discovered that he had lost a good majority, over 50% of his hearing in his right ear. No reason. We have no idea why. It's not genetic. None of those things that lots of people like to lean on. It wasn't there. And so at 4.5, he got his first cochlear implant in the ear that he had never heard from. And so that was really cool that at 4.5, his left ear was, as they say in the cochlear implant world, activated. And so he heard his very first sounds out of his left ear for the very first time at 4.5. And then at just over 4.5, he received a cochlear implant in his right ear. And so now he is just going through the process of really just learning to hear again, learning that the sounds that he hears have meaning and purpose, and that when he's spoken to, there's intention behind it, and that it's not just muffled noise that that in the past he could just ignore because it didn't make sense to him, because it was likely more muffled than what we hear, or he wasn't hearing all of the sounds. So he's relearning how to hear, which is a cool concept in and of itself. We have learned too that brains forget words when they don't hear them anymore. And so common words that he's used to hearing, like mom and dad and all of his brothers' names and those types of things, they're now starting to click with him again, and he's saying them now. So it's always super fun to hear our names in whatever form that he says them in. It's not
and whatever volume.
Yes.
It's kind of like when he's throwing a fit and he says your name, you're like, oh, that's awesome. Like, yes. And you're like, I should not be that happy about you screaming at me, but I am.
So yeah, he's made, I used to be in the education world prior to being at home with my kiddos. And so it's very cool. I spent a good time writing IEPs and collaborating with parents and other educators when I was in the working world. Now I spend a lot of time collaborating with his educators on his IEP. And so it's so fun to see his goals being met, and ones that we were like, ooh, when they tell us, that they wrote it, we were going, ooh, okay, that's cute. And now he's meeting them, and just also, something that y'all would probably really enjoy, just the technology that he has available to him. He has an iPad that is district mandated, and still to this day, words that aren't easy for him to say, whether it's because of sound clarity, meaning like he is struggling to form the sound. He has a device that will speak for him. And so it's really cool that he still has to obviously select what it is that he wants to communicate. And And so we've just seen him grow leaps and bounds by using that as well. But then he always has to make it a full sentence.
Right.
So like if you want something, it has to be like, I want whatever it is, please.
Yeah. But I mean, in all, it's really cool to kind of see him develop from, you know, a very normal 1-year-old, 2-year-old to who had his 50 words or 30 words at 1 year old to having 0 words. And then, you know, next thing we know, we're just having to teach words all over again to him. And it's such a unique thing, but refreshing to know that there's such technology and that we're extremely blessed to be located in Nashville, Tennessee, which is right down the street from Vanderbilt, which is one of the top hearing hospitals and centers in America. So it's like right in our back door. So that's a huge blessing. So we're definitely here for a reason, right? But we definitely have just been blown away by the pure technology of the procedure of the cochlear implant, which if you're ever wanting to Google cochlear implant, don't. It's horrific, especially the night before the first surgery, and it kind of, you know, gives you a little shock. But yeah, it's just been really incredible to see how every piece of the puzzle for him has fit together so well, but in a way we've never imagined any one of our other 2 boys or any other of the kids that we've worked with in camps or in church or in school classrooms. It's just so unique. And plus Eli, once you meet him, if we ever have the chance, the kid has a larger than life personality. I mean, he's like going 100% and, you know, has incredible comedic timing. So like there could be a great study like done about comedic timing and communication. Like it's its own form of communication because the kid has been funny since, you know, like 2 years old, when he could put together, you know, concepts of reaction to doing silly things and getting a laugh. So he's just a real joy, and difficult at times, but hey, what kid isn't, right?
All kids are. So I just want to say thank you to both for, you know, sharing that story about Eli. You know, I mean, we appreciate that. I know the people listening to the show really appreciate you guys' honesty and openness. And in thinking about that, what do you think is the biggest thing that you 2 have learned just in this whole process? And the process isn't done, obviously, it's going to always continue, but what do you think you 2, like the biggest thing you've learned from all of this?
Well, I mean, one of the things that I just take from just my experience at school and being a teacher is that no kid is the same. I mean, we've said that over and over, and Ryan just mentioned that none of our children are the same. And so his pace and the way that he goes about even learning and displaying his ability on some things is just totally different than the other 2 boys. And that's okay. And we have to, I heard someone say when we had our 3rd son, you know, remember not to compare them. And I thought to myself, oh, right, that's easy. They're all so different, but they really are. They're all super different. And I think it's easier to do it whenever they're not your kids, but when they're your kids, you just do it. And so that has been for us, and patience. Just learning that it's going to come at his time, as everything has. He does it at his time, and also, as we tell our older son quite often, he's learning all the time. He's not just learning when we take him to school. He's learning every time words come out of our mouth, and he learns. Ryan was saying he has good comedic timing, but that's because he was actually also voted most dramatic in his classroom.
Oh, yeah. So his class award at the end of the year was most dramatic, and all the other kids got their awards for their attributes and sat down. Eli got up and took a huge bow in front of the class. And,
nice.
You know,
I wonder who he gets that from.
Yeah.
I don't know. We're still working on that and trying to figure that out.
But that's one thing that he really does gather too, is he gathers, you know, facial expressions, because a lot of times, you know, we communicate with our facial expressions. And so he is also picking up, we tell our older son, he's not just taking your tone, but he's also taking the frustration in your eyebrows when you're yelling at him. And the same goes for us too. You know, we have to make sure that when we communicate with them, that we're communicating with our face as well.
Yeah, for sure. Like one of the biggest things for me in learning how to be a Eli's dad, like, is exactly that. He catches every single thing that you do. And it's not just like the things that you say as a parent, but it's also the things that you do. So there's moments of such frustration where you're just like, you know, your body language is like, you know, slouched shoulders, or like, oh, I just want you to go to bed. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. It's not time to wake up. You know, all those things he picks up on, and what things that they don't pick on. And, you know, that can be a great reminder to just in life in general, like, people around you are noticing you all the time, and what are you communicating through your, not just your words, but your body language and your you know, your reactions to people, and all those things. So it's really caused us to be a more aware than we ever were with, you know, Will, our oldest, who you know, has had his, you know, many trials of his own as an older brother with a special needs child, and, you know, he's going to have a skill set in life that no one will ever be able to have, which is such a huge blessing, and it will be later. But yeah, it definitely makes you much more of an aware parent.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I love how your kids are always rocking those Kids Deserve It shirts too, I gotta say.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the thing. Every time Eli sees the Kids Deserve It shirt,
And
the
he has
logo,
2.
and he has 2 of them, he literally will like take anything he's wearing off and
go
will
right there.
demand to wear that shirt. Like, we could be going to church, we could be going out to dinner, we could be going to bed, whatever it is. He sees it, he has to have it, and so.
Yeah, and he knows his brothers, both of his brothers have one as well.
So he
And
goes
then
around,
he makes
yeah.
them put theirs on.
Yeah.
I
Yes.
love it.
And
I
we're
love
like,
it.
just put it on, it's
You can take
okay.
it off when he leaves the room.
Well, we saw your guys' picture, which I'm sure is going to be your Christmas card on your stairs.
Of course.
It
He's
is.
wearing Kids Deserve It
Yes.
shirts.
We're
Rocking
going.
it out, man.
We're going to Photoshop both of you into it.
Yeah, just right
I
in the
will-
back.
I will fly to Nashville to be in that picture.
Oh,
Yes.
Real time. Let's do it. All right, Ryan, Danica, every week we like our guests to leave a challenge for our viewers. What is your challenge for the week?
Sorry, repeat that.
Every week we like our guests to leave a challenge for our viewers. What is your challenge for the week?
Oh man, that the challenge. Well, that's a great challenge. I have watched this 100 times, and I
75 times.
Here's my challenge for because of the situation that we're coming from with Eli, and knowing that every interaction and every moment matters with your students, whether it's your own children or the students in your classroom or the students at your school if you're an administrator. I think every interaction is an opportunity for maximum impact every single time. And if you can approach your day where you're thinking, you know, every interaction I'm going to have is going to be intentional. Every interaction that I'm going to have is going to be, you know, 100% of myself. You know, that's something that we can all always be, you know, more focused on, even in work life. If you're not an educator, and every day, if you treat it as, I can make an impact positively in someone's life, no matter what I'm doing. I may be, you know, talking to someone I don't know on the phone, or I may be interacting with someone at the grocery store. But if you can make maximum a positive impact, you know, it's amazing what we'll be able to do. So that's my challenge for all you guys, to be conscious about making that maximum positive impact.
Well, Ryan and Danica, thank you so much for being guests with us and for just sharing us a little part of y'all's history and family, as well as some professional stuff. So we really appreciate y'all giving us your time.
You're
No
welcome.
problem.
Thank you for having us.
And we want to thank all of our viewers for watching. And remember to tweet us using the hashtag #KidsDeserveIt. And remember our iTunes challenge, where if you leave a review for us on iTunes, we'll be selecting a winner every week to win an autographed book set. Make sure you join our Twitter chat on Wednesday. And our next guest is going to be Mandy Ellis. Everyone have a great evening.